thank you guys for attending our webinar session today. As Denise said, today we're going to be discussing the recruitment module, and we're going to be going through in detail our onboarding process and the offboarding process that is part of the Factorial solution. As Daniel said, my name is Nicholas Williams. I'm the Regional Development Manager here at Davyn, and I work alongside my co-worker Umar Mohammed as one of the Factorial specialists here at Davyn. Right? So we're going to talk a bit about Davyn as a company first and foremost. So we are a company that has been in existence for almost 25 years. We are mainly a Microsoft partner, and we have a full complement of experienced and certified business analysts and developers as part of our company that's able to capture and solve all of your pain points within your business processes. Right. So to share a little bit more about our solution, next slide, Leon, sorry. So as I said before, we are a Microsoft solution partner, and we provide the full suite of Microsoft solutions. So to start off with, of course, we are based and focused on our ERP solution, which is Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. And to complement that, we have the LS Retail solution for all our companies that are focused on retail solutions and point of sale. In support of that as well, we have the Power Platform solution, which is, of course, used for when you have your niche and specific requirements. We can be able to build and customize an app to meet those very niche and specific parts of your business operations. Now, Factorial is a solution that we saw that we had a gap and we needed to solve. And we realized that a lot of companies were reaching out to us for human resource solutions, and it's something that we weren't fully involved with. And as such, we came and partnered together with Factorial to bring on the Factorial HRMS solution. Factorial is a European-based company and is one of the fastest growing solutions that are in Europe, right? So they have expanded very rapidly with over 1,300 experienced employees. They have experienced a growth of over 2 to 3 times over the past 3 years, and has a plethora of over 16,000 companies that's managed over 1 million employees. And of course, they have been making a very aggressive push within the region and are very capable of providing your HR requirements, right? So with that, I'll hand it over to Leon.
Appreciate it, Nick. I see that we still have people joining us, which is great. Always great to have a full room. Good morning, everyone. For me here in Barcelona, already good afternoon. And yeah, just to catch up on Nick's context, for those that never saw it before, I see some familiar faces in this call, so I think not everyone, for everyone, this is a first. But Factorial is the ISV, the independent software vendor of choice in the Microsoft ecosystem. We're fully integrated with the Microsoft products. And that's why the partnership here with Davyn was just a no-brainer for us, right? And trying to localize our product more and more for the Caribbean region and try to shape the new gen technology, the very up to the most developed thing there is out there in the market technology that we have, and try to localize this for the business compliance needs within the Caribbean through Davyn, right? Now, Factorial is an all-in-one HRIS by textbook definition, meaning that we have this core component of functionalities based on your admin work, document management, onboarding of new employees, all those paperwork workflows. And then we pair this up in our core product with 3 different verticals. One that deals with time and attendance, PTO, scheduling, compensation, so your operations heavy component. And then 2 other verticals, one for talent development, performance reviews, engagement, surveys, and one for finance products with your procurement, expenses, reimbursement. All of that can be synced, of course, to the ERP and Business Central of Microsoft. Now, today, what we're going to do is to focus on a particular part of the tool that it basically connects whatever you get as an output from your recruitment tool, which is your new hire, to the onboarding workflow. So your what we call it the employee lifecycle. This is actually a core functionality, those workflows, onboarding and offboarding. We're not going to go dive deep in the actual recruitment module today, but rather just show how it integrates with the HRS and how the HRS function for onboarding, offboarding, admin management, how that actually works within the system. Before I actually put that out, just for you guys to see, this is the roadmap of our product. Like I said, we're going in different directions, but I want to actually first have this discussion about the employee life cycle exactly, which is one of the most fundamental basic activities that all of you guys, HR professionals, have to deal with. And it's typically one of your most find challenges with. The reality is that across the SMB sector, so small and medium companies, 99% of the time, this process is scattered between different platforms, right? So you have typically one process or one team, one tool that deals with the actual hiring, and then multiple different people involved in the onboarding process, typically relying on physical paperwork, Excel spreadsheets, SharePoints, and a lot of emails, right? And you guys feel free to add comments to the chat if it's different for you guys. But this is basically the reality that me, Nick, and the other guys we see out there. It's where you have to go to the office, actually sign the paperwork, or you have to send a bunch of emails, and it's very hard to keep track of that. This is all based on McKinsey, Boston, KPMG, the biggest consulting firm studies. This typically leads to 50% to 200% of companies losing an employee annual salary when replacing them. So your retention here is actually threatened by the moment that this employee starts in the company. Some more concerning data actually tells me that by average, um, companies actually spend 65 to 140 hours um, onboarding new employees total, right? So that goes from your first trainings, collection of documents, enabling the computer that they have to use, or if you're a blue collar employee, you need a helmet and security equipment or your tools for your work, and getting the team that needs to send this to, and then keeping tracking of that, signing the proper paperwork. So this McKinsey and Gartner made a study, and by average in Latin America and the United States, and you guys are in between, right? This average typically takes 65 to 140 hours to actually take place. And my slide says here that up to 20% of employees turnover happens within the first 45 to 90 days. Depending on the industry that you guys are at, this actually goes up to 50% of all turnover going through the probation period. And this is when we say turnover here, this is not you guys firing the people because you hired the wrong person, which is a different thing, but actually this employee compulsively giving up. So actually turning over and say, oh no, this is too much for me, too chaotic, right? And first impressions actually matter, right? When you start in your new position, starting a new company, and the first thing that you get is a list of a bunch of stuff that you have to do, no one actually guiding you, lots of paperwork being thrown all over you. That's not a good first impression, right? How can I actually scale my career based on that? And this is the reality, right? Strong onboarding can improve retention up to 82%. This is based on our client base. The productivity here tends to be something that is also very key. So it takes averagely 4 months for an employee actually start having an impact. Those same studies, they typically say that for the first 4 months, for the first 120 days, this employee will have very little to no impact. And 25 or 40% of that time will be actually be spent on paperwork. So your managers, your IT managers, your HR teams, I'm assuming most of you guys are in HR, right? For this one employee, you spend 20 to 40% of yours and their time in the first 4 months, just basically handling paperwork. And that's just the reality of SMBs out there, right? So ideally, what we're going to show today is a more effective way, not only to take care of this particular very key, very highly universally important process, but also how to manage the rest of the admin workflow with this employee life cycle and automate them until they leave your company and offboard completely, right? So with that said, I'm not sure um, if anyone wants to say anything, but I'll start sharing my screen. So here, guys, once again, for the ones that have been introduced before, we have Samantha also joining us. Hi, Samantha. So Here, once again, for the ones that have been introduced before, and for the first time for the ones that haven't been introduced, this is Factorial HR. Like I said to you, this is an all-in-one HRIS that deals with automation for the whole employee life cycle. So you can see that we have the operations vertical, the talent vertical, and your finance vertical, all encompassed by deep analytics, workflows. This that you're seeing right here is the main interface of the platform. So as soon as you log in, this is a standard interface that you're going to get. And everything under the bar personal, this is your self-service employees. So employees will come here and actually add the stuff. I'm trying to add Samantha. Uh, Danil, if you're still here,
Yeah, I'm
not sure.
trying to add her as well. I'll figure it out. No worries.
Okay. So going forward, everything under the bar personal here, guys, this is your self-service as the end user, right? So this will not only help you guys as managers to automate the actual process, create the step-by-step, how the workflow actually behaves, but also to increase and improve the employee experience, right? Because this person will have a self-service guided onboarding step-by-step where they can interact, sign the paperwork, complete everything through the platform. Okay, so this will start actually in your hiring process. In case you guys acquire the full HRIS, this is fully integrated, so you can manage your actual hiring process, the applicants, everyone that is applying for a position. You can do all for here. We're not going to spend a lot of time today, guys. This will be a different actual webinar that we're just going to discuss this module in depth. But for today, I'm just want to show you that once I have my customer experience agent position available, imagine how dreamy would that be, right, guys? I can do all of that in one screen. Everyone is involved. I can see all the different sides. And now I want you to send an offer to Dennis Palumbo, and I want to hire this person, right? So it's an assessment evaluation. I'm just going to click on this profile. Like I said, guys, stay tuned for the demo of the applicant tracking system for next webinars. Um, but what I will do it is just I'll hire this person and I'll show you how it looks. If the Wi-Fi of the building helps me out. Let me switch to a different one. Okay, so I'm gonna click here on Bula. This person is already in schedule an interview. This is the stage. I'm gonna move to phase, okay? So the offer was sent. Bula actually is going to be higher now. All I need to do is to click on the big red button on my applicant tracking system, and this is how I'm going to kick off my onboarding process. Imagine that, right? Without needing to send a bunch of emails, asking, calling different departments, no, none of that. All fully integrated, all in my screen. I just move to phase, and then this automatically pops up the email that they used to apply. I can skip all the steps because filling this data out is actually part of the onboarding process, right? So if either the new hire or the manager or later down the road someone else in HR who else needs to do this, I can skip it for now because all these tasks will be part of the workflow. So I just need to actually say when this person starts. So I'll say that it will start next Monday, right? And then I just need to activate the onboarding space. So this, guys, is a workflow automation that I'm going to show you guys how to set up. And basically, there's no limitation here. And this is why we're so scalable to an international basis as well, right? So if you guys have an employee in Trinidad and Tobago, and you also have an employee in St. Lucia and another one in Jamaica, right? The paperwork will be different, the tasks will be different, and even in the same country, right? Let's assume that you have contractors in Trinidad and full-time salary employees, and you also have some part-time employees as well in operation in Port of Spain, right? Let's say. Typically, those will be different documentations, different collective agreements, different salary bases, different trainings that these people will be enabled. So the system doesn't limit you on the amount of templates that you can have here. So all you got to do is activate onboarding space and select one of the templates that you guys can have. And again, these templates can be segregated in type of contract, region, whatever it is that makes the SOP for onboarding this person differentiated from other type of people in other departments, right? So my job stops here. I just need to say this, and then I can, wash my hands, and this will start as an automation. This person will have access to a welcome space, and we start to see all the tasks that they need to complete for this onboarding directly sent to them in their personal space, right? And that's basically it. Now, how this is set, this is actually the automation that we're offering here, right? This is the most important thing. This is how we're going to transform your SharePoint and lots of paperwork into a full digitized system. So you're going to click here on workflows, and then the system suggests different types of workflows. That's your basically your whole employee lifecycle. I have on the onboarding here, I can get templates for all of those. I have my offboarding, and I can also do this for training certifications, like those periodical training certifications that I need to collect every 1 year, every 2 years, 6 months, whatever it is. So that's something that you can automate as well. But basically, when I clicked onboarding, the system offered three types of templates, right? One for your standard onboarding, one from return from parental leave, or however you guys want to call it this, and then one for role change. If I got promoted, then at this template. Like I said, the system comes with out-of-box suggestions, so templates that you guys can use, like best practices. This is all based on our business acumen for over 16,000 clients in 90 countries, you know? So this is out-of-box expertise that you guys can leverage from. But most importantly, the system will give you the room to actually create your personalized workflows here. So I can see here this can go as to the extension that you guys wish. You can see all the tasks here. Send welcome package, send company equipment. I can have tasks for the first day. I can have for tasks for the first week, for the first month, for the first 3 months, as far as you guys want to go, right? So all you got to do is click on the big red button, new onboarding, and create a process. So I'm going to call it test, right? Webinar test. So just we can differentiate it here. Webinar test. So in the webinar test, I can create the steps. I can call the steps, like day 1, month 3, like whatever it is. I'll like the way you saw it in the template, right? Categorize them by the period, by the type of actions, the steps they're actually in, and then create the actual tasks, right? So when I click on task, the system will give me several different options. Those are your typical, most standard practices on onboarding new people, requesting personal data, additional employee info, ID and social security, bank info, file upload, contract data, and then request document completion and signature. You can do fully custom tasks if this is not encompassing a step that you thought about it, so I don't know, Whitney, you have something that is not covered here. You can just click on custom task and have this cover. I'm going to use this example because this is probably one of the most powerful things here. So you can not only sign documents for this platform, but this is also generative. So you can create fillable fields in particular documents. And this is part of the implementation process. When you implement Factorial, the Davyn team will help you with that. You're going to put all your documentation inside the platform, the ones that you need typically send out. And this become fillable documents within the system. So when I request a document template, when I request a document completion and signature during my onboarding process, I can use those templates that I have embedded in my system. So the standard work agreement, the standard tax agreement for Trinidad, for Jamaica, for Barbados, whatever it is, or any other piece of paper that is needed for this particular process. So I'll select here. I have my demo examples. I'm going to use this one from the US just as an example. So Form W-4 is basically the standard tax form return for salary-based employees in the United States. Every employee that gets hired in the United States needs a W-4 to be signed, and this can be added as a template with fillable fields to the platform. So this is one of the most powerful things that will actually make it everything digitized. Not only they can put their signatures, but also add information to this paper. And then if I need to assign this to multiple people, the system will allow. So this is interconnecting your different sectors, right? Making the departments connect. Onboarding new employees is a interdepartmental type of task most of the times, right? IT gets involved, sometimes legal, always HR overseeing everything. Sometimes you have your individual managers in that department involved. So you will be able to assign every step and every task to a manual selection, to a specific manager, to a workspace, to a team, or whatever it is that needs to be assigned this particular step of the onboarding. And you can always include additional signers, so an extra layer of compliance. Once this is all created, all these workflows are established. I'm going to click here. All the tasks that you put out will be tracked here. So I can see onboarding with pending mandatory tasks. I have 6 people with pending mandatory tasks, and I have 23 pending tasks. So if you're one of those very hands-on onboarding people, HR people that is always chasing everyone across the company on Teams and then calling everyone, hey, please complete that, your life will be much easier now because you can send reminders like this. You can just click here, send a reminder, please complete your tasks, and this will automatically be sent to everyone else. Or you can come here if that's the case and complete the tasks by yourself in case you wish. So this is being assigned to days and I have to do whatever thing. If I can take action myself, the system will enable you guys to do as such if you wish. And then the same logic will follow the offboarding and any other particular step. This is something that is very key in a compliance aspect that you guys have fully awareness of digitization, data retention, and a clear standard operating procedure. I'll say to you guys, based on my expertise selling HRIS for plus 5 years, you guys lose time and ability to scale with poor onboarding, but then you lose actual money with poor offboarding. That's when the sue comes in. That's when your fines comes in. That's when you lose based on data protection and things as such. So the concept is the same, right? And most important for companies that are in an earlier stage of automation of and internalizing processes, the ability of using those templates, it's also very key. I have a lot of customers that don't typically have this very draft, very clear how to offboarding someone, and this typically helps a lot. Like I said, this is out of box expertise, and the steps that you're seeing here are based in our client base. So best practices cross industries, cross countries, so on and so forth. Nice. Before, I think that's a good moment as I spoke for nonstop for 25 minutes. If we want to open for questions, Danelle, interactions, things that want to be touched on, I think it's good timing.
Okay, guys, do we have any questions, comments, anything that resonates with you that you want to learn more on? If not, no worries, we can move on to the next part. But if anything pops up, you can use the chat or you can raise your hand for us to unmute you so you can ask your question.
And so I'll just wrap it up with the whole thing. Just wanted to, while drinking some water, let someone, if anyone wants to pitch in. But yeah, guys, so this is a standard feature of the platform, right? So this is a core component of the tool, one of the more vital steps, and one of those that every single company has, right? Every company on earth will have this onboarding process for the employees. And like I show you guys the number, most of them are still doing pen and paper. Once this workflow is sent to the employee and they have their onboarding space, right? They have their little view here with whatever tasks that they need to complete, and they complete such, whatever they get, all the documents, all the files, they automatically go and be filled out in the core HRIS function. So you guys will not need to double entry data to send this again and, submit in multiple systems. So the part of the self-service magic is that you're handling this admin work and spreading to all the stakeholders, making sure it actually happens because the system will keep track of that, and then freeing up lots of times for you guys to actually focus on strategic tasks as you should, as great HR professionals, right? So if you go here, all the work details, all the workplaces, the teams, the IT assets, the custom fields that need to be followed, or the agreement data. So all the agreement data, whatever is the agreement type, what is their job title, the compensation info, this will all be tasks that we're going to put out and these workflows to be filled during the onboarding process. And they will automatically be in this employee profile. So when they will go to their documents, and you go to their document segment, the files will already be allocated here where you designate it to be. So when they fill out their ID, when they sign their agreement, when they have all the application files here. And you guys will be able to revisit in your organization. So this is your core HRIS function. Once again, the most basic functionality of the platform, the one that is always being encompassed, and uh, for of utterly importance for automating your admin workflows. And
Awesome. We
that's
have one question, Leon, from Nisha. Pretty interesting,
donation.
actually. Can the system track high potential employees and skill gaps for internal career planning?
Yes, and that's a next webinar. I think I want to do next on this topic. I was already discussing, but just for the sake of quick note looks, we have a 9-box grid here, so you can see top talent, rising star, needs improvement, and that there is a huge AI component in the talent management can help you strategize on career planning, career gaps, and forecast new talent as well.
All right, awesome. So Nisha, stay tuned for that next webinar topic that will be coming up soon.
Yeah, we did a performance management one, but this is a topic of uh, enormous discussion and a big gap in the Caribbean market. So I'm trying to study with the marketing team different angles for us to approach the same functionality, but with a more strategic layer to it.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions, guys, before we move on?
And feel free also
No.
for feedback, guys. If you think that's something that resonates, if it makes sense to, and the problems that we were discussing at the beginning, if it's something that actually resonates with what you guys are seeing in your companies, you know.
Any automated exit survey tools?
Yes. So in the workflows that I show you here, good point. As you can see here, we can also send surveys, and we can help you guys with templates and all of that. But the idea is that once you do the offboarding, for instance, the offboarding comes with one of the tasks. Let me go back here. One of the tasks for your offboarding uh, being a survey, right? So we close email, exit interview, retirement celebration, or whatever it is. And then you have a survey being sent out automatically, right? So when you're creating tasks, when you create an onboarding flow, the system suggests two things, right? One is called an action, and then one is called a task. Your action on the offboarding basically is your survey. Send automated email or send an automated surveys to your new hires, or in this case, your new offboarding people, right?
Okay, awesome. We don't seem to have any more questions, but oh yeah, we have another question from Wendy. Is this module
Basic
part of the basic package or an addition?
basic package and Wendy, entry price for you.
Entry price, Wendy. Entry price for you. So again, if no questions come to mind right now, you can always book a quick demo, book a quick chat with Umar or through our website, just to speak a bit more about how Factorial could work for your specific business module.
And I'll be asking SQL to follow up. And if you guys if it sparked interest, it makes sense. And I think we definitely can help, and Davyn can make sure that we understand your localized needs, right? Whatever is specific to you guys in the Caribbean, because I'm sure this is a point of concern with foreigner providers. You guys are exposed to providers coming from the US or other providers coming from Europe. And this is something that the gap there from services, this is something that happily we don't, because we deploy our services through Davyn.
Yeah. All right. So thanks so much, Leon. Are you finished with the presentation? Oh, we have one more question from Shiv. Is recruitment included at $8 per month? At the $8 per
That's
month
not
mark.
that's not our entry price, by the way. It's less than the entry price. But the recruitment is an add-on, but it's not typically charged per employee per month. It's typically a fixed fee. So just like a monthly fixed fee. Typically we go like that. We can do per license for bigger accounts because it comes out cheaper in the when you see the output. But this is very flexible, to be fair with you. So, and
And
it
another
is
question.
multilingual.
Yes, it is multilingual.
Yeah, you can change the language in an individual user basis. For instance, I'm Brazilian, so I like to use my personal account in Portuguese. So I do my just because I rather I do my personal account in Brazilian Portuguese. So I can come here, and user could come here, click on preferences, and then switch the language. And if you guys, in case you have a need for an extra language, just let us know in advance, and we can do that through AI.
Awesome. Another question from Shiv. Also, are there any price considerations for nonprofit intergovernmental organizations?
Yes, there is. We do a special price for NGO.
Yes. All great questions today, guys.
Oh, buying questions, guys. I'm waiting for demos after this.
Yes. So again, the recording would be sent to everyone, as well as I'll include our link to book a demo.